As I mentioned earlier, it is good to be back. And it is good to journey together down this road that is before us, down this journey of faith, of questioning imagination, this journey of trusting in something bigger than you, trusting in something bigger than me, or even us. And as we tune in this day to the scripture readings, as we listen to the stories, we are truly invited on a Lenten journey that takes each and every one of us along and begins to open our hearts and minds to a new realm, a new possibility. Let us begin first and foremost with this couple in the Old Testament, in the Hebrew Bible, this Abram and Sarai, renamed in the scriptures Abraham and Sarah. This couple living in this land of Ur and experiencing a call to step out in faith. The idea that they are going to have something new and profound happen to them, that their name will take on significance, that they are going to have nations looking to them as father and mother, a good reputation, that they are going to be blessed. An incredible story. But let's step back even before that, because we have had at this point in time the first 11 chapters of Genesis. These first 11 chapters have a lot to offer. A lot of mythic qualities, in a sense that they tell the story of God and God's people. They hold truths. Perhaps not literally, but truths for us in faith. And in this story, in the first 11 chapters, as we hear about it and as we live it or experience it, we see God unfolding creation, reaching out cosmically at first in how the world is created, how animals are called into being, how people, humankind, come into existence. Then we have the stories of the generations that come after, and God working to journey with this whole creation. There's a lot happening. We have the unfolding of the stories of the people of the world. Yet, every time God seems to reach out or connect with the people of the world, something breaks down. Trust, faith, perhaps an understanding of what is yet to unfold. God eventually seems to get frustrated that this cosmic creation, that the promises that God holds out to the people don't seem to be quite enough. So here we have a transition point in Scripture in this 12th chapter of Genesis, where rather than focusing attention on the whole of creation and all of the people that are there, God singles out a couple, Abraham and Sarah, and is going to work to build a very faithful and covenanted relationship with them. Very individualistic on the one hand. But God calls out to them into a larger journey. Now, if God were to begin a relationship and a place of promise that starts with a couple of people and is to ripple out in the world, one might think that this Abraham and Sarah characters, that they might not exactly be the place that God would start. In some ways, they seem like kind of unlikely candidates. This older couple living in a distant land where Sarai is barren. They've built up their own little piece of property. They have their own herd of animals. And they have a few family, including this nephew named Lot. But it doesn't seem like there's necessarily a lot to offer. But it is precisely there where God enters in and calls out to the two of them, these unlikely characters, and says, come, journey with me into this new place. And here are the things that I have to offer you. Name, a new family, a good reputation, a land. Are you willing to journey with me? And this older couple, barren, perhaps with many of their own questions, says, we'll do it. We will step out on faith, and we will travel with this God. We will travel to a new place and live into these promises that God presents. What a wonderful place to be. And they walk or begin this journey with God. Now, for those of you who know the rest of the story, the journey is not without its own share of big potholes. The journey is not without Abram and Sarah really struggling along the way. But they hold out their faith in this one God who has spoken to them and promised them these incredible things. They know they are not alone. There is also the promise that they will be a blessing not only to themselves, but to the nations, to the people. I had mentioned earlier how, on the one hand, it seems so individualistic. God making a covenant with these two. But we find out it's not just a covenant for two, but for the benefit of all. That through this couple and through those who are their descendants, those who come after them, that God will be revealed to the nations. That the blessings will spill out, overflowing to all the nations. That becomes a powerful witness. It is also a place where we can tap into what we hear in the gospel today. This incredible text about Nicodemus who comes at night. This one who is looking for God. Perhaps skeptical, or at least trying to stay under the radar of his fellow Pharisees, but wanting to know more and going to the teacher, seeking